Good morning. Good morning. It's Wednesday Wisdom, and it's a little bit chilly here in Shell Harbour. We've got cloud cover again, so I think it's going to rain. We've had some beautiful weather. I am here with the beautiful Tess, who I actually met just recently at the Mind Body Spirit Festival. And I always love when I see women that are shining their light. And I often, hey, let's just get on and start talking. so welcome, Tess.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited about this. Looking forward to having some fun.
Yeah. And so you live in Sydney, do you? Or where are you from?
No, I actually live just outside Byron Bay.
Okay. So you were down in Sydney for the festival.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And we are talking about, following your heart and all of the beautiful things that on a spiritual level, we sort of know, right? But how do we implement it and how do we stay in that flow? And being an intuitive and quantum alignment consultant, I'm sure you've got some amazing skill sets that you can just share with us. So let's start with asking, how did you get into this work? How did you start being attracted to doing what you're doing now?
It's a really great question. I think it started in my early teens. So we're talking decades ago now. And I always had this curiosity about energy and sensing energy and the atmosphere or the frequency in a room or with people. I was always really sensitive to that. And that led me on to being more curious about things like crystals and aromatherapy and, all the really sort of accessible things. But of course, back then they weren't so much. And then
yes.
I kind of just did what everybody did, really. And I went out and I got a job at an office. And I used to be a cost accountant. So I just used to work in corporate and number crunching. But all the time I had this kind of other life that was happening. And it wasn't until I had one of those life-changing moments when my father passed away suddenly in 2008, my whole world turned upside down. I went through that dark night soul journey. And that actually brought me out the other side 7 years later. And it was because of that, I needed to find something to support myself through that coming out the other side. And I found an amazing modality called life alignment. And I also found a teacher who was teaching all about intuition, or what I like to call it is inner tuition, and how to access it practically and in grounded ways and run it through these really structured processes to gain more information. And so I've blended the two of them into what I call the Tesla technique. And that's kind of how I got to where I am today, really, through my own personal journey and through meeting two amazing people that brought these fantastic modalities to me that just allow me to feel and sense and combine to bring this unique, bespoke, shift, transformation, metamorphosis. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got a very similar story to me. My dad died when I was 15 and 10 years and came out the other side of that process. And that's when I sort of woke up spiritually myself. So it's often these big what we catastrophic experiences that give us that, what is this, what are we doing here, who are we, what is this all about? And to be able to find mentors that can just, hey, remember who you are, right? So tell us a little bit more about that modality. So you created this modality, this Tesla alignment. Yeah.
So with the intuitive work that I was doing, the way that we do the coaching with that is we're looking at what the ego or the resistance is bringing for whenever we're going for what we create. So we form these things called choices. So they're actually based, they're heart-centered choices. They're not actually in the rational mind. They're not goals or aspirations or dreams. They're actually really deeply connected to what we would truly love. And this is where the follow your heart and never be lost is always really connecting into that. So when we do that, obviously when we go for what we want, our resistance comes up. So working with that resistance, naming it, you know, allowing it to be there, which is great, but there's a lot of tension that's created when you're trying to go forward, but also sort of part of you is pushing back. And then this is where the life alignment came in. And I realized that we could work with that challenged side, that part that was trying to protect us, that was trying not to let our hearts be hurt again or let down. And so doing the reprogramming on a subconscious level, using the body, I call it sort of quantum kinesiology. So it does involve some qualities of kinesiology, but it is in the quantum realm. So we're always looking for that part of the body that is holding the emotion, or that part of the psyche which is stuck in a story. And we're not just working this lifetime, like we go way out, we go Akashic records, past lifetime, ancestral. So it's this really holistic way to actually transmute resistance and then throw all of that new energy, that vibrant energy into the choice, the end result that people are going for. And it's amazing what people actually get at the end. Their minds are totally blown, and they're like, wow, I just never knew I could actually think like that, and now I think like this, and now this is happening and that's coming to me, and I'm actually getting what I would really love. Yeah, that's kind of
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so is it something that you've got to do physically, like you've got to be there, or can you do it online, or is it something that you...
I have a lot of clients online. Yeah. And
Okay.
then and when we're looking at like working personal one-to-one with somebody, and you know, some people have got businesses, you know, they're in organizations, and I don't know if you know agree with this, but I believe that like we are the resistance in our business, we are the resistance in everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so the really great thing about what I've created is that you can apply it to businesses, you can apply it to organizations, you can apply it in the family home if there's not great dynamics. You can actually incorporate the feng shui of the house. I call it advanced feng shui, because we're taking into account the environment we're living in. So everything is frequency, everything can be realigned and brought back into harmony. So it's just an amazing technique that can be applied to anything and anywhere, and even land healing. So that's kind of how I work. I love to work with entrepreneurs and change makers and people that have got new ideas that don't have any formulas, like they're in the unknown, they're right on the edge, and there's nothing else for them to measure against. Their creativity and their innovation is what we need to create this new earth. And so I love supporting those people to remove the resistance and thrive. That's kind of where my passion really, really sits. But I think in answer to your question, there's just a really simple process that anyone can do, which allows them to just come out of their overthinking rational mind, which will always give rations, and really bring people back to the heart. And it's really simple. It's just like 4 things that they can do. Very, very simple.
Okay, and that's what you do in your teachings, right?
Well, it's one of the first steps.
Okay.
In some of the modalities that I teach, this Tesla technique. And so it's really simple. The first thing is recognize that you're overstressed and thinking about something, and take a breath in and come back to yourself. And then it's called roll, ROLL, and the O is for orientate. So I truly believe that our inner compass is our heart. And so we're orientating back to what we would love. And it's not like, oh, I'd love chocolate. It's like, no, what deeply, truly moves your soul and gets you out of bed in the morning, like what would you love? And so orientating back to that, and that choice, that end result that you're really wanting to achieve, and really feeling all of that in the moment, like it's happened. Like like
be
really,
able to see it.
Really feeling every part of your body and imagining like you've already got it and how awesome that feels. And the next one is just let go. Just let go of any preconceived ideas, any any assumptions, any history that you're relating to the past of how things might play out. It's just blank slate, let go in the moment, innocence, just being. And then the next part of the other L is love. It's like, what would you love right now? Like right now. Because sometimes we might want that big thing that we're going for, but there might be something we need to do a little bit to shift our energy. Like we might need to go and have a shower or make that awkward phone call or something that might not have anything to do with our end result, you know, our choice of what we're really going for. But sometimes we need to do those little, you know, those little sideways steps and things like that, just to keep the energy moving and to really feel in and take all that with us when we take our actions.
Yeah, because, you know, often what it is that we want to create is not something that happens straight away, right? So you've got to take steps towards that. What is it that you're moving towards, and how can you, you know, orientate, you know, you've put it within you. Now let's take the actions that we need to step into that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. And then with the intuitive work, like with the intuitive style coaching, is we do like a reverse question. So we stand in that end result, and then we actually look back to where we are currently, and we ask, what did we do, or what changed?
Yeah.
And it's amazing what comes through when you're not trying to plan it ahead, but you're looking at what you did retrospectively from an intuitive point of view, from more information that's outside the rational mind, is what I call intuition. And the steps that I teach is how to actually get into that mindset, into the brainwave state, so that you can open to more intuitive information. And then, yeah, take the action that you took.
Yeah. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so do you run courses, or you just work one-on-one with people? How do you work?
Yeah, so I am the founder or co-founder of the Academy of Intuitive Mastery, and we run online trainings. And then we have workshops that, you know, you jump online, and so we have stuff recorded already, and then we get on and we play and practice and things and create together and support, and it's beautiful community. So I have that's part of the trainings I offer with the intuitive work. And then the other modality, the life alignment modality, I teach that. I teach it one-to-one. It depends on people want the timing. So I always work with what's true in the moment. I don't believe in setting up big structures and dates and things like that and really hammering it, because I feel that being magnetic works better for me. So and people come, and then whatever happens, and it always seems to align. So I've got the right group, and they're all creating this beautiful vortex, and we're all learning along the way. So
that's fantastic. And so if people wanted to get in contact with you, Tess, how do they get in contact?
Well, just jump on my website, send me a Facebook request. My website is my name, tessmillersharp.com. And you're welcome to also come and find me on Facebook. You can come and join the Academy page as well if you wanted to keep up to date with trainings.
Awesome. So we'll put all those links in down the bottom. And so if I was to ask you, and I often forget to do this, so I'm glad I remembered, because I feel you've got something beautiful to share. What was the best advice that you ever received and implemented?
Oh, that second part of the question. It's The thing that jumped out for me when you said that was just be yourself, because everybody else is taken.
Yeah,
that changed my life. But you know, it's ongoing. It's, you know,
it is, isn't it? Hey, and it's really interesting because we do similar work, and where, you know, that little part of ourselves, that identity that just so wants to stay stuck in the now, and, you know, hold ourselves separate from everything else, and not in our intuitive nature and not in our heart space, it's so tricky. It can be so and that people can say, well, this is me being me, right? But it's actually not. This is an aspect of you, but it's you are way more than that. You've got a really high potential. You're a magnetic genius that's full of greatness, and it's just accessing that, right, and being able to step into that.
And that's why really knowing all parts of oneself, and I think that's one of the I'm not religious, but the Bible does say, know thyself. That is your mission in life. I believe that is to know yourself and know all those parts of yourself that have the steering wheel at times. And where that drive is coming from to take that action or have that thought. And that amount of awareness is the ever-present challenge, is to really know who's in the driver's seat. That little wounded part, or is it that magnificent part of you that's really, brave? And I don't believe that the comfort zone is the safe place.
No.
It's comfortable, but it's not safe.
No. Well, I remember a client saying to me once, why is my comfort zone so uncomfortable? And it's because, often, it's the place that we're more familiar with. And so, it's being able to, when you don't know the unknown, it's scary, right? So you'd rather stay with the pain or stay with the overwhelm, because that's familiar, rather than what is unknown, and how you're going to handle that unknown. So yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? And as you were talking, I was thinking about how now is the time. You're the same as me. You've been in this spiritual, industry, if you want to call it, or journey for a long time. So you've most probably seen the same as I, this evolution just within the realms of spirituality and what it means to be spiritual or self-development and all of those things. Like you've most probably watched it evolve as I have, and where we're at now, to have all these different modalities and awakenings of actually we're not just this body, we're not, that we're so much more, and how to implement that, because we've known that for a while, but how to actually move that and clear that resistance so that we can step into our greatness. It's so beautiful to be here in this time and space at the moment, and watching people wake up and having so many people there to mentor and coach and facilitate that awakening and guide others towards that. Yeah, it's a beautiful time to be on the planet, right?
Oh, it's amazing. I think, you and we've probably got the same curse, which is the curse of the visionary. And we know it's possible. And we know we can see it. We know how it can go together. Yeah, we need people to play with. We need others to come on the journey. And it might have been about 5 years ago, I remember really feeling that energy of people are ready now. And I kind of tagged it as ripe for change.
Yeah.
With a lion roar, like really ready, really ripe for change. And then it all just sort of went quiet again. But now it's back.
Yeah. Now I agree.
So many people are like, I want to understand a little bit more about that. And I'm like, okay, there's this whole encyclopedia in my head of all of this stuff. Let's just go slow. Let's go gentle. And you're ready. And they're so porous. They're so receptive. They're so thirsty for it. Yeah, it's really exciting. Really.
It is. And yeah, absolutely. And the thing about this that, and I'm sure that you agree, this is a practice, right? It's not a, take a course and I know it now and I don't, like, it's like yoga, right? I know a yoga pose, okay, now I'll go on to the next one and never practice it again. It's ridiculous. It's not something that that any yogi would, you know, they laugh at you, right? And it's the same with creation and living in your true heart center. It's a continuous practice, because we're so conditioned to live in our egoic agenda or in our little self that is doing that role that you just said, you know, like the, you know, what was the R for again? Receive, recognize.
Nice, yeah.
Recognize, yeah. And so, you know, recognize where you're at, orientate towards it, let it go. And the other L was love. Yeah.
What would you love right now in this
Yeah.
moment?
Yeah. And so, you know, that's a continuous practice, so that you're constantly moving into that heart-centered, you know, that aspect of yourself that's here to really shift the world with all of us and to play, as you said. So
yeah, it's the rational mind that really limits us. So, and our heart, you know, they've got the brain cells in the heart, and the resonance of the heart is actually stronger than the brain. And so if we can just stop trying to work it out and stop trying to need to know, and just really anchor and follow our heart, you know, we'll never be lost.
yes, absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much, Tess. It was great to have a chat to you and see you again.
It was beautiful. Thank you. Really, thank you.
So thoroughly enjoyed, and we will add all of your links into our different platforms that we're playing in. So if anyone would like to jump on and get in contact with Tess, then click on the links and she'll be able to share her wisdom with you, and you can go and play in her realm.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Take care, everyone.
Bye.